We're going to create a form, and so I'll select the Create tab, and I want to create it from a completely blank template, and so I'll select Blank Form. There are many built-in templates as well as a wizard, but all of the techniques you will see in this demonstration can be applied to forms created with those methods as well. Initially, we'll define the source of the data for the form, and so I'll select the property sheet, and because we'll create a form to display the content of the departments table that we created earlier, in Record Source, I'll select Departments. You can also type or build a SQL query for the record source, and you do this by selecting the Build button for Record Source. We want all of the records from one table, and so we don't need to use the builder right now, and so I just select Yes to close the query builder. Also, notice additional properties that you can set. For example, you can add criteria in the filter, and you can allow deny additions, deletions, edits and filters. Data entry is a special form that does not show existing records, but allows creation of new ones, specifically for data entry staff. I don't want to change any of these, so I'll select No and close the property sheet. Now we're going to add fields to the form, so I'll select the Design tab and I'll select Add Existing Fields. I'll drag department name, manager and location onto the form, and notice that the controls are automatically aligned and the control type is automatically selected. You can also define a control type, and I can select List Box and click below the existing controls. We're going to get the values for this list box from the Employees table. So I'll select Next and select Table Employees and then select Next again. We want to display the name of the employee, so I'll double click first name and then double click last name. And I want to sort this by last name. So I'll select Next, select last name, and that will sort by that column. The actual value that will be stored is the primary key, but this isn't much use to someone using the form, and so we'll uncheck and then check the hide key column so you can see that that's how we can hide away those values. We'll store the value that the user selects in the Manager field. So I'll select Next, and in Store that value in this field, I'll select Manager. Select Next again, and then I can select Finish. Notice that the list box is showing the same data as the combo box, but I can adjust the height of the list box to show different numbers of rows. I can also add a more memorable name to the control, so I can select the Manager control, select the property sheet, and then if I select the other tab, I can see that the automatic name is not very useful, but in name I'm going to type LST Manager. I'm doing that because it's a list box, so I'm using LST so that I can see that that's what type of object it is, and Manager is the name of the control. I'm then going to delete the combo box for Manager and its label. We can adjust the layout of the controls until we've got the desired effect that we want. And so I'll drag department name, move it close to the gap that we've got there. And I'm now going to add a title to our form. So I'll select Title, Type Department, and then I'm going to select Location Control, select the Property Sheet, select the Format tab, and I'm going to set up themes for this, because we can set up themes for the whole form as well as being able to format every control independently. Themes are useful because they use complementary colours and allow you to quickly change the whole look of the form rather than going into individual objects. For this one I'm going to select Organic. So far we've been looking at Layout View, which allows us to see data at the same time as designing our form. We can make a few more changes if we switch to Design View. And so I'll select the View drop-down arrow and select Design View. We can now make additional changes, such as the tab order. The tab order is the order that you will cycle through controls when performing data entries or edits. This is particularly useful because if you've got a data entry person using a keyboard, they tend to use tab to move through from column to column rather than using a mouse. So I'll select the Design tab, then I'll select Tab Order, And actually the tab order seems fine, and so we'll leave it as is. And now we just need to view the form. So we'll select OK. I'll select the View drop-down arrow and select Form View. The form looks good. If you've got time, there are many changes you can make to the appearance of the form and to the appearance of the individual controls. The only limitation is your imagination. But we're happy, so we can now save the form, and I'll select Save, type Departments Form and select OK. Now you can have a try at creating a form yourselves using the Form Wizard.